So really awesome 4R win here on Amazon this morning. Ended up playing this Trendline breakdown in 3 for 3 pre-market conditions all the way from about that 127.54 down towards that 125.44. This is a total 4R win. So what that means is that if you're risking $1,000 on this trade, you would have profited approximately $4,000. In this context, right, we had a really nice full body bearish candle breakdown here under that trend line on the strongest volume of any of the names that we look at here on a day-to-day basis. So at this point, we're now looking for a pullback in towards that 127.50 area for our ideal entry price. From that point, we know we've got about 4-to-1 risk reward down towards that low of day and a perfect A+ setup. This trade came together in about an hour and a half or so, or a little bit less than that, and we were pretty much green for about a hour and 25 of that. So textbook A+ trade, and hopefully you'll learn something from this breakdown. Yeah, it's less than $1 per share, right? So you'd be happy to go full size here. It touched. That's going to be enough for me, man. I don't necessarily look at these, right? I round the prices. So I treat them like a zone, not necessarily a specific level, right? So I care the reaction around that price, not necessarily to the penny of that price. So I think ultimately that's a little bit of a fool's game. People aren't only loading in at 126. They'll defend 126 at 126.03 or at 125.97. And it's the same difference, essentially. Okay, so watching here closely, right? Watching here closely. Okay, let's see if this thing can crack here. All right, guys, I am in average price 127.54. Average price 127.54. So entry made me just a little bit nervous, right? About 20 cents early from where I should have been. And I think ultimately that made me a little bit jittery on this trade, especially early. Okay, let's see if this thing can break down. Maybe not the perfect entry, but not bad here, not bad. So let's see if this thing can keep going. Okay, I'm gonna look to close out a little bit here pretty soon. Like maybe 127.20-ish. Okay, it needs to start breaking here. It needs to start breaking. 10 cents away. Oh. Still just a little bit early here. The indexes are concerning me a little bit, though. This is, I think, my biggest fear. This doesn't feel like index cooperation on my setup. So I want to see these start to crack. Otherwise, I got to get out here. Okay, Apple pushing 75, 74. Okay, SPY coming off of highs, which is nice to see. Positive, right? Positive. Need this to crack. Apple pulling back. Okay, let's see if it can go. Okay, we're getting close. Breakdown here. Come on. Come on. $0.05. Here we go. Here we go. All right, guys, watching right for that 20 handle, 127.20. Oh, that's a dirty move. Come on, push, push, push. Okay, watch here, right? 20 cents. Okay, getting close here, guys. Getting close. I just want to de-risk here. I think that's ultimately the anxiety, right? I want to get to risk-free as soon as possible. Okay, watching here, right? This is where it could come. Okay, there we go, guys. Closed a little bit off there, right? 127.20. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so let's see if we can get some continuation follow through here now to the downside. Man, guys, my heart is fucking racing. Oh, my God. Well, scary to trust a trade. Huh. That's a weird feeling. Stop is at my entry price here, guys. All right, let's see if this thing can now keep breaking down. Right, next target, we'll call it 126.75-ish. Oh. The thing I think here sometimes, right, is when the unfamiliar doesn't happen, or when the familiar doesn't happen for a long time, it feels unfamiliar. That's a weird way of describing it, but it feels like it's been a long time since we've had a trade like this come together. Appreciate that, Brian. Hopefully you caught a nice little win here too. But this one definitely felt a little bit Like, it made us work for it, right? And those are always feels like that's the trade you get when you're having a long week. The win you get makes you really work for it. And gotta buy her flowers and dinner. So yeah, next profit target, guys, here 126.75. Oh, Greg, you're a killer. Let's go. That's an awesome entry, dude. Congratulations. Oh, dude, I'm jealous. What? 20 cents better, man. That's incredible. That's literally, you got 0.25% better entry than me. That's a huge difference, dude. That's very impressive. Well done. All right, guys, so about 10 cents here for my next profit target, right? About 10 cents. And I'm going to close about 1/4 of my original position. Oh, feels good to be green, guys. Feels good to be green. Oh. Yeah, it's about 10 cents away here again, right? 10 cents away. Wait for the spread to cross under, right? So wait for the bid to be at 126.75 if that's your profit target. Oh, Justin, let's go. Fuck, guys. Here I am, feeling stoked about my trade, and everyone's one-upping me. Gonna sulk in my chair a little bit. No big deal. Nice, Judson. I love that, man. See, that's perfect, right? You know how to fish for yourself too. That when you join in, it's not like you're getting confirmation bias, but you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. That's perfect. Okay, there we go, guys. So just took some off there. 126.70. Let's go. Woo. Best feeling in the world, guys. All right, so now next target here, right? Low of day. And then finally, we'll be targeting 125, right? So by buying that pullback and waiting, right, that 125 is like an afterthought. Oh, nice. Okay, finally, Judson. Appreciate you. Right, so it's, guys, it's not that we're going to hold out for dear hope here towards that 125 always. It's not always going to be the case. But if we can de-risk along the way, and I mean, you guys should be up hopefully a pretty nice amount here, right? A buck a share on a $128 stock is pretty awesome, or $126 stock, right? So hopefully you guys are all having a really nice green morning here this AM. Kind of a reward for a very patient, hard week. But man, what a difference, right? The second we don't have any Fed speakers to deal with, what a nice market. We can kind of just relax, right? I wouldn't say relax, but we can trust our technique just a little bit more. Fuck yeah, guys. What trade? Let's go. So next target here, right? Low a day, about 70 cents away, 126. And at that point, right, I'll have about 1/3 of my original position left. So I've closed just a little bit less than a half. So the next chunk I'll take me over that kind of threshold and into a 1/3. So about 50 cents away here. Best job in the world, guys. Best job in the world. So what's kind of interesting about this setup, or the one thing that I've been really visual or trying to vocalize, right? The types of setups that we're looking for here. We kind of combined the two types of setups we expect to see on a 3-for-3, correct? Right? So not only did we play a breakout, right? That's our confirmation, but our entry was a pullback into the trend line, right? Or a pullback into previous low of day, which is the next logical area where we expect bears to step in and defend, right? So when we're actually planning out these concepts, it's kind of funny. We almost like planned out our entry too subconsciously, right? Because we bought that pullback into that trend line, which is that same area where we expected bears to step in and defend on a 3-for-3 to the downside. Kind of feels like that was just like a eureka moment. You guys know what I mean by that? Oh, best shove in the world. 953. Everyone else has got to be thinking, I mean, I know a lot of you guys still work 9 to 5, and this is like your goal to escape. Man, almost Margaritaville time. So about 50 cents away from that next target. Just chilling here now, right? Stop loss at my entry price. I got no reason to be aggressive. Just trying to see how much of this lottery ticket I can get to follow through. Yeah, we're in great shape, guys. Excellent trade. So who's still in this with me here? Anyone still holding on? Let's go, Greg. Nice work. I mean, with your entry, of course. It's impossible for you to not be in, Greg. Let's go. Ah, you guys are all killers then. Perfect. Best thing in the world, right? Just now we're just kind of chilling. Like the I don't know. I think this is what makes trading fun. Like this feeling right now. This is what makes trading fun. So addictive, this feeling. It's like I saw the future, right? Hey, Clark, hey, that's totally reasonable, man. You had your last profit target, you had a plan, you followed your plan. That's what feels good, right? Is we had an idea of what was going to happen. We shook the magic 8-ball, and it spat out exactly the answer that we expected. Oh, that's so much fun too, right? Like when everyone's doing well and everyone's eating, and like, and not only is everyone doing well, but everyone's understanding why and getting their timing right and making their own selfish decisions that are best for them and even outperforming me. Like that for me means I'm doing a good job from my perspective. So like Damon, size is all relative, right? I mean, that's what she said, but Like when I was trading institutionally, dude, I was trading 40 mil positions, right? So like the size that I trade now, it feels really small. um, and yeah, I always feel inadequate to the man I used to be, the trading size I had. So it's a funny game how that plays with you. But for me, right, the thing that feels good is this trade, right, or these types of trades where you plan it out and your plan comes together, they feel repeatable, right? They're like the antidote to the death of hope, because you're like, okay, I saw this, it did exactly what I anticipated. Yeah, maybe it was nervy for 5 minutes, but okay, that's in the grand scheme of things. My pleasure, Clark. Right, we're all in this together too, right? So it's not that I uh don't have tough days, right? Or that I don't struggle with the pressure of this game and all these sort of things. We all deal with those emotions, right? That's totally fine. But the point and the reason why I try to be so transparent about those things, because it makes it like it's okay, right? Like how many times does it feel like it's the end of the world and then the next day we get a nice trade, right? So it's often like how we feel in the moment is actually not the reality, and just like venting and getting that shit off of our chest and just like using the group as like a almost of a form of therapy sometimes actually prevents you from blowing up that mental capital, because there is that strength in numbers. There is that conviction of, okay, I'm not alone here. And I think that's a really powerful motivator for people too. And yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to make fun of anyone in here for feeling anxious or feeling stressed out about a trade, or for making a mistake, because we've all been in that same place, but we all are on the same team. And that's, I think, what makes everyone better too. Because ultimately, right, I don't like, we're all kind of competitive psychos, and no one wants to be like, even though we're not like a cumulative team score here, no one wants to be the guy on the team that the GM is trying to trade, right? Like you don't want to be that guy. No one craves to be that person. And so that inspires everyone to bring their best day in, day out. And that's I think that's ultimately really fun when you cultivate that right kind of crew of people. And yeah, guys, right? Tough times lead to good times. Good times lead to tough times. We had an awesome summer. So it's not to say that we deserve drawdown or deserve to lose money. That's obviously not the case. But trading is a little bit seasonal, and there's times where your strategy kicks ass, times where it doesn't. And it's literally about surviving until you can thrive sometimes. Right? And then one trade makes your entire week. And so that's really, you have to just kind of zoom out and keep the big picture. So again, guys, right, about 20 cents here away from my next profit target. Nice. We got that alert for SPY breaking down, right? Which, okay, nice consistent stories here. Maybe we can get some more follow through. As I say that, SPY gives me a dirty looking candle. Yeah, let's see if we still got some legs here. Man, that was an awesome trade. Fuck. Literally the strongest name out of everything here this morning, too. Like, it sticks out like a sore thumb as being the strongest setup by a mile. We crushed it, guys. Perfect trade. There's any questions about this Amazon trade? Everyone understand the thesis here, why we took it, why we had confidence in it, why the entry was what it was. Happy to answer those questions. I don't know if you guys remember, but a nice day in the stream means a good breakfast in my belly later. So I'm trying to crave some hash browns and some maybe pancakes today. So I won't lie, that's on my mind a little bit. So I'm more in trade management mode than making more decisions mode. Rose, you understand the thesis of this trade? And what about this made you not want to take it? I'm not to say that you have to take trades in the stream, not at all. But the idea, right, is to reinforce like kind of muscle memory. So what kind of made you uncomfortable? Nice, Greg. I like that. I mean, you might have to put in like a little shot of Bailey's in there after your entry? So I still can't get over that 71, man. That's gonna haunt me in my dreams. Okay. So like you need some practice just like setting up your orders and stuff like that, Rose. Does that make sense? Or is that fair? Okay, fair enough. Oh, best job in the world, guys. Best job in the world. Well, maybe one day, Judson. Maybe one day. It's a good question, Greg. Not sure. I'm not sure what my thoughts are about the stream. To be very honest, what I found, like upon reflection, is that streaming all day when I pretty much never get a trade in the afternoons was like it just felt exceptionally draining of my mental capital. So yeah, like it was kind of more of initially a rule I put in place where I prevented, like it was to prevent myself from doing. But yeah, like to be very honest, like I don't want to be too pretentious. But like, I try to my goal here is freedom, right? So if I'm now working or trading from 9 to 4 and then doing one-on-one calls with you guys and reviewing my trading and like doing the things that I need to do to be successful in this career, then I'm doing like 14, 15-hour days. And I don't really want to do that. I'd have a lot more security putting in those kind of hours working for a fund. Yeah, like a lot of my hesitation is against that. Where I like to gatekeep my time because I trade not really for money necessarily as much. And I got trapped in that. Like in the pandemic, it was a great distraction because there was nothing else to do. So I loved working the hours. I loved doing those 14-hour days because it was a distraction from there being fuck all out there. 5 cents away here, guys, right? So yeah, like if it gets to a point, there we go, guys, locking a little bit more. I've got about a third of my original position left. So yeah, if it gets to the point where I don't know, something changes, like maybe the evolution at some point in my trading would be to just develop the courage and build a swing trading strategy at that point where there could be like maybe a intermission midday and then a jump back in at power hour to basically do that, where then maybe the transition becomes to just being the afternoons. But yeah, honestly, I've been very happy with my trading performance with those compressed times. So I don't feel like I need to make the change. All right, guys. So yeah, I mean, Greg, you're freaking killing it on this trade, dude. Congratulations. There's $2 a share. Let's go. Yeah, I think there's probably a fine balance. Nice, Greg. That's awesome. So yeah, my next target here on my final chunk will be $25. Maybe I'll leave a little under that. I'll close half of what I have left, maybe at 25, 125. Yeah, this was a good one, Joel. This one feels great. So nice that all that emphasis we put into making sure our plans were perfect and all that kind of stuff. Nice that we've seen that come together and reinforce that hard work. The best feeling. Oh, best job in the world, guys. And like the best thing, well, not the best thing, but what's awesome about this trade, look, we made lower lows, right? We cracked under low a day on an increasing outlier volume standard. Not yet, because once we hit 125, then yeah, we'll be 4R. We're risking about 70 cents a share here. Something like that. So 65 right now. So about 3R. 3.5R. Something like that. So I'll take that all day long. That's enough to make your week. Oh. Man, it's this morning I woke up and all I could think about was that it was going to be a buy the dip day. So happy I fought that bias. So at this point, Stephen, right there, this is kind of a technique question for yourself. I have found that if I start to then move up my stop loss later, or start pushing it past my entry price, I ultimately end up being too aggressive with where I push it, and I stop myself out too early and leave a lot of money on the table. So I tend to just push it once and just de-risk by trimming my position. But it's kind of one of those things. Pick which one you're comfortable doing and just do the same thing over and over. So if you're going to move your stop loss, find like a way of making a trailing stop, or like some technique that you can repeat, because then you'll notice that pattern. So for myself, I just kept noticing that I was leaving money on the table by pushing my stop loss up too aggressively, or like I was too emotionally attached to my P&L. So this is kind of like how I counteract that. So I just try to trim out on the way down with my position sizing, and just, yeah, keep the other executional stuff as simple as possible. Yeah. So Joel, I always move my stop loss to my entry price once I'm up 2R. So by my second scale out, my stop loss is always at my entry price. And then from there, I don't move it. I used to, but I just don't anymore. Yeah, pretty much, right? It's risk-free. So at that point, I can be much more aggressive. Yeah, this trade has been awesome, Judson. This has been fun. And look, everything else is breaking down here too. So maybe there's a few more pennies that we can squeeze out of this. The idea is just to try to de-risk as much as possible in general, right? So the sooner I can get to risk-free, the easier it is for me to survive. And then from there, it's kind of about finding that ratio where you're happy with how much you're making and how much you're leaving on the table. Because the reality is that profitable traders are always cutting trades probably too short, right? They're not catching the very top and catching the very bottom on every trade. That's more of an element of luck. So it's more about picking that technique that you're kind of happy with, and just understanding that, hey, I'm probably going to miss some bits every now and then. I'm basically not trying to solve for 100%. Like the way I describe it is I'm always trying to solve for 70%. So what's the best outcome 70% of the time? Yeah, I don't need, like, trying to catch the whole move is a fool's game. Who knows, right? So all I'm trying to do is basically catch the juiciest middle. Like I'm trying to be, I don't know, like if someone was to cut like a turkey or to cut like a piece of meat, what would be the douchiest or like the most obnoxious cut that you could take out of that meat? Or like if you were to bite an apple or to like open a banana, what would be the most obnoxious way that you could possibly do it? That's kind of what I'm trying to do with a trade. I'm not trying to like nibble on the corners and get the biggest bite. I'm trying to get the easiest bite. That's pretty much it. Like as a retail trader, right? I fundamentally don't need to be first, because there's enough liquidity out there where I can catch the middle of a move, have a 1% move on the index, and that could be life-changing money for me over the course of a couple of weeks or a couple months. But that's not the case for a multi-billion-dollar fund, right? They can't get the position sizing they need for that move to be worth something. So if that's the case, right, I need to catch less of a move to make a proportionally bigger P&L kind of hit. So it's not about catching the biggest move, it's about catching the most probable one the most consistently. And then if you do that well enough and you get your portfolio to a size of 100 million, 200 million, okay, like fuck you money, then yeah, okay, you're gonna have to start to change your trading style. But if you look at a lot of like hedge fund returns, or you get your hands on like the know your clients documents that these funds kind of put together, you often see that in their induction or in their like first 2 years, when they had 20 million, 30 million, 40 million under capital, they're doing 200% a year. But the second they get above a certain threshold, that then kind of gets capped. So it's the same thing here as retail traders, right? We can catch a bigger chunk of a smaller move and do very, very well. And that's really what we should be aiming for 99% of the time. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stats where historically Mondays are more bullish, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of historical data out there. I don't put too much stock into it. I mean, Greg, it's almost a $2 a share win, man. It's no complaints there. That's incredible work. So yeah, I've seen a lot of no, Stephen, sorry, I missed your question earlier. I would not hold this overnight. I don't like doing that, especially over the weekend. I have zero interest of doing that. Maybe one day, like I said, I get the courage to do that more, but I'm not really there. It doesn't. I'd rather not think about that over the weekend, to be honest. So yeah, it's not a huge issue or not something I think about too much. Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much don't leave positions on without watching them. Like the exception is like, I'll give my dog like a belly rub or something, but make myself a cup of coffee. But that's like little short-term things. So yeah. But Joel, yeah, back to your question. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a ton of like they call them quant stats these days. Of okay, Wednesdays in October are historically bearish. Like, fine, but I don't care. Like, I kind of more look at the day to day and just kind of trust that. For outlier events, like, oh, how does price react at quad witching? How does it work for certain things? I think that's more helpful. But for like the day of the week, oh, today's a Wednesday, so we gotta be bearish. I'm not sure if that's at that point. Like I'm overthinking it. Like I'm starting to go too much into the like horoscopes. Like, oh, the market's a Cancer today, so it's acting like a Virgo and it's gonna bounce. Like I can't really get into that kind of thought process. Just doesn't like it doesn't make any sense in my brain, so I stay away from that. Just keep it simple for me. Yeah, exactly, right? So like getting data around those kind of outlier events or those kind of like specific triggers, yeah, that for me it makes a ton of sense. But yeah, everything else, it's just information overload, I think. So I'll still another 40 cents away here, right? And I'll close my final chunk at that 125. I love this job, guys. uh, Imagine having a real job. Never. So final scale out here will be at 125. It is, but it doesn't feel like one. Never feels like work. Trading never feels like work. Studying my trades feels like work. Watching back my trades feels like work. But this right now, this doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel like this is real life. It just feels like I'm playing video games. It's fun. Like, pass the Doritos, give me some Mountain Dew. Get a good session in. Okay, so 20 cents away here, right, from that profit target. I already got my order set for that. Yeah, I don't like it either. And I feel like it would give me a lot of bias for day trading. Oh, it totally is, Clark. It 100% is. So 15 cents here, guys. 15 cents. It's 100% a game. And the sooner you can start looking at it as a game and just like looking, oh, this is how you beat the boss. I feel like that makes it easier to gamify your mindset too. Sorry, what do you mean, Joel? I'm sorry, I'm not tracking your train of thought. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Market's my boss. Taxman's my boss. That's probably better. Better description. Right. Trading is very difficult. So you have to be very self-accountable, right? You have to hold yourself to a standard that other people won't hold you to. And if you don't hold yourself to that standard well enough, then you cheat yourself of your future gains. And that's a very avoidable reality for people. Everyone wants to be rich, right? Everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants to be a profitable trader. But only a very small percentage of people are willing to make their actions match their words. That's the secret. And I found that it's easier for your actions to match your intentions when it's doing something that doesn't feel like work. But I think that's what makes trading so fun for me, right? Is it's made gamifying that self-improvement and that accountability and that development into something that didn't feel like it was a chore. Like, I was excited to do it, and I continue to be excited to do it. And I think that's what is the ultimate. Like, I think yeah, it just feels like that's how you know you've probably found what you're supposed to do. And so, yeah, at that point, right, if you do believe that, if it never feels like work and it doesn't feel like anything, then giving up is never an option. And so you kind of have to get to that point, right, where you just refuse to do anything else to almost make it. Like, there is no other option. I think the only way that you can fully commit to that is if you're truly all in on how much fun it is. Yeah, again, though, right? Like, saying it and doing it, though, right, is a different thing, right? Saying you're not going to give up, but then actually behaving like you're not going to give up is a different thing. Very easy to say it. And that's where like the pain comes in on a day-to-day basis as traders, right? Is when we're suffering the pain of discipline, right? That's where the pain comes from. And sometimes that pain is too great where we break our rules and we need that like dopamine addiction to fill our decision-making processes. But if you do that, you're not trading for your long-term best future. You're not trading to be profitable. You're trading to feel something. And then that's not being all in, right? Being all in means that you ignore that you fight through that you find ways to avoid it. So saying it is one thing, right? Doing it is another. And I'll never know, right? If you guys are all in or not. That's not something I can ever answer, right? That's something that is only you have the answer to, and only you can keep yourself accountable to. So about 30 cents away here still, right? For my final profit target or scale out. You can get there. Close. 1032. Not bad. So on my last chunk here, Rose, I just have in my like order entry window, I just set my profit target to be 125. So you can just go to modify, where you have your stop loss set. You can set a profit target to, and I just have that set at 125. Hey, nice work, everyone, for catching those trades. That's fantastic work. Well done for keeping your cool, right? Maintaining the variables that you could control. And yeah, for those of you guys who got better entries than me, my revenge is coming on Monday, right? So study your entries because I'm going to be studying mine. We're going to get some kick-ass trades next week for sure. But yeah, Greg, we'll see you on Monday, man. Have yourself a great weekend. And you too, Judson. No, I never do, Joel. I mean, unless you count like long-term investments, like so I'll add to my long-term portfolio outside of the stream for sure. But I don't take any day trades outside of this. I go enjoy my life. If I did take trades, then I would stream more. But I don't, so. Nice work, Ruben. Very nice work, man. Well done. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Joel. Right? Like I'm always trying to put myself in a situation where I'm like one trade away from a nice week. That's really the point of my risk management, right? If I lose, I should lose really small so that I can bounce back and have a green trade, right? So that I can find that consistency. So it's easy for me to finish off on a high note. It's proactive, not reactive. That's the embrace we have to do, right? That's the focus we have to have at all times. Yeah, sounds good, Ruben. We won't see you tomorrow, man. We'll see you on Monday. You enjoy your weekend. Well deserved. No worries, man. That's the curse of a trader. Fridays are your Mondays, right? Sometimes. I know, right? It's the opposite of what everyone else does on the weekends, Clark. It's weird. Oh, am I supposed to play Call of Duty compared to this? Get out of here. Can't find that 125 here, though. It's annoying. Hey guys, any questions about this trade? I'm kind of thinking of just closing it here. $2 a share is awesome. So yeah, any kind of questions here? Anything you guys want to go over? Happy to answer those here now. Otherwise, going to take off pretty soon. Yep. Sizing is determined right based on the how big my stop loss needs to be. So on any trade where my stop loss is less than $1, I go full size on that trade. My position sizing is not based on a feeling, right? It's based on the total amount of risk that I actually have per trade. Inside your Google Drive, there is a file or a doc with a position sizing guide based on your stop loss requirements. Yeah, so I was going to watch back this trade a little bit, Rose, because as that 5 main confirmation was kind of even closing, we had already mapped out the fibs and the stop loss and the entry price. So there was a pretty long wait towards that pullback. So I would rewatch that, see maybe where you think you made a bit of a mistake or maybe where you missed something. Because, yeah, at least I'm pretty confident that it, yeah, opening 5 minutes, but even before that candle closes confirmation, we kind of knew the perceived entry zone. The entry was at 9:38, so there was a decent amount of time, right, to deal with this. But I'll cut this trade up into a video over the weekend, and you'll be able to watch it back, and I'm sure it'll be in there too. And attempted to close this. I don't feel like I'm getting a good enough reaction at these lows. That was a very frustrated sigh for a very green day. This job's funny. Getting grumpy over 20 cents. It's like McDonald's are charging me for a barbecue sauce. Low volume. All right, guys, I'm closing my position here. Final scale out price 125.44. I am all out. So yeah, well done, everybody. Incredible trade. I'm still wildly jealous of those 127, 71 entries. And goddamn, guys, it's gonna eat me up for a while. So congratulations to everyone who caught these trades. Awesome way to end the week. Fantastic Friday. So I'm not going to do anything here now to ruin that, right? I'm happy to end the day there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything along those lines, feel free to hit me up outside of market hours. I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. This afternoon, I got my dad in town, so I won't respond to anything here today. But yeah, if you guys send me an email over the weekend, I'll try to get back to you when I have a moment. But yeah, if you guys have a great time, appreciate every one of you. And we'll see you all in the live stream again on Monday. Peace.